About 200 years ago, German inventor Karl Drais invented the Laufmaschine, a German-ish word since he made it up, and let's be real, it sounds like love machine, for a running machine. German for running machine, not love machine. Also known as a dandy horse. It's basically a bike without pedals that's powered in more of a Flintstones variety of propulsion. To honor Drais' invention, a group of researchers from Saarland University in Germany gave it a 21st century spin. They call their bike the Draisine. Draisine 200! That's why we don't do it live, boys! They call their bike the Draisine 200.0, but their version is electrified. Their prototype runs on a 200-watt electric motor controlled by a Raspberry Pi. Their goal was to get an idea of how to control an electric bike in software, but one of the biggest challenges was that since it doesn't have pedals, they needed to find a way to sense when the user pushes and figure out when to use the electric motor. With your typical electric bike, the motor kicks in when you start to pedal. They added an MPU 6050 6-axis MEMS device that combines a 3-axis gyroscope and a 3-axis accelerometer on the same silicon die to measure acceleration. And they added a Hall sensor to the rear wheel that sends a signal whenever it detects one of the 4 magnets that they mounted to the wheel. According to the researchers, the bike, which is now in its 3rd iteration, can reach up to 12.5 miles per hour on flat terrain, and they've topped out at about 20 miles per hour on a downhill slope, which doesn't seem that fast until you remember that you don't have pedals. The researchers hope that their work will be used by the fast-growing e-bike industry to avoid programming errors that have already plagued other industries, like those autonomous cars that just can't stop slamming into things. And now I know what you're thinking. How do they stop? Well, they have this dandy foot brake mounted to the side. So pretty much they're stopping like the Flintstones too. Just foot to the ground, boys. It hurts, but I'm gonna die. Who knew 12 was so fast? Ah! Do it live, boys! Wisconsin-based Eck Industries recently signed an exclusive agreement to commercialize a cerium aluminum alloy that was co-developed by the Department of Energy's Oak Ridge National Laboratory. The new material is ideal for creating lightweight, strong components, but what's most important is that the patent-pending aluminum makes use of the most abundant rare earth element, cerium, which also means it's cheaper. Maybe. We'll see. Didn't catch any prices. Cerium makes up as much as half of mined rare earth materials, yet has less value than co-mined elements like neodymium and dysprosium that are in high demand for advanced energy technology applications. Scientists at ORNL, working with Eck Industries and researchers at DOE's Ames and Lawrence Livermore National Laboratories, developed the alloy to be easy to work with, lightweight, corrosion resistant, and stable at high temperatures. Testing has shown that cerium aluminum alloy is stable at 500 degrees C, which means that engines can run hotter with more complete fuel combustion while being lighter in weight. According to the researchers, it doesn't require additional thermal processing during the casting process, and casting can be done using standard aluminum foundry procedures. All of this means cost cutting. The cost of heat treatment and the additional machining required due to thermal distortion can make up some 50 to 60% of the cost of casting traditional alloys. Energy costs could potentially be reduced by 30 to 60% compared with traditional casting processes. Cut costs, fixed time to market, that's all we're trying to do here, right? Faster, cheaper. Do it live, boys! This week, NASA unveiled a new concept for a future Mars rover, and it is excessive? The rover is the work of Parker Brothers Concepts, the company that made the Tron light cycle a reality, only they call it a neutron, and they also recreated the Ecto-1. So, excessive is kind of their thing. The brothers took design input from NASA experts to create a rover that operates on an electric motor that is powered by solar panels and a 700-volt battery. The rover actually separates in the middle. The front section, which can seat 4 people, is designed for scouting and equipped with a radio and navigation provided by GPS. The back section, that you abandoned apparently, actually could serve as a lab that can disconnect for autonomous research. The 6 wheels are an interesting part of the design as well. They were designed to have a lot of surface area and large vents, so they could traverse over sand and not get stuck. Now, the concept isn't headed to the Red Planet anytime soon. Actually, it's going to the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. where NASA hopes that it's going to inspire people. I mean, at most, like maybe a few ideas from this concept will make it into the next rover, but that's just too boss to not send to the planet, man. Get it up there. And it looks like a really expensive hype piece. But before you get fired up, NASA did stress that the Kennedy Visitor Complex funded the build without use of any taxpayer money. And it already inspired me. You know, back when I saw it in Batman Begins. It actually looks like the Parker brothers borrowed from the plans that they used when they built their own Batmobile. Yeah, they basically already built this before they just jacked it up and made it separate. But it's still cool. Some sources also say that it was inspired by the G.I. Joe amphibious personnel carrier from 1983. Yeah, it looks just like that. And my source is Jeff. Jeff thinks it looks like his old toy. Go Joe! I'm David Manti. This is Engineering by Design.